Hi everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave. I'm going to analyse Polkadot with you today. Before I get into that, a reminder, my new course, Buy Low, Sell High, has a special launch offer that ends tomorrow at 4 p.m. If you know that there's a possible way to make a lot of money, like make yourself really wealthy in financial markets, but you're just not quite sure how to do it, you're just not quite sure how to identify a really good opportunity and how to buy low and sell high, this is perfectly the course for you. This is the course I wish I had when I was in my 20s and 30s. I mean that absolutely honestly. If I knew then what I know now, my life would have been quite different. It teaches you how to spot an exceptional opportunity, how to buy when prices are low, when everyone else around you is saying, don't buy that, it's terrible, the price has crashed and it's so low. How to buy when prices are low, how to hold for years throughout volatility and manage your emotions, which is one of the most important aspects, how to manage risk, and then how to identify when to sell when prices are high, how to make a plan and execute that plan to actually take profit, because you haven't made anything until you sell. A lot of people, if they do manage to make a smart investment, don't sell when prices are high. It's just pure luck. And then they miss out on that opportunity because these volatile markets, they go up and they go down again. So that's on special until 4 p.m. tomorrow. Link is in the description box below. Go over to my website and get your access now and get started planning for your future wealth. Let's get into Polkadot. I thought I'd done an Elliott wave count of Polkadot before, but I hadn't. I'd just done classic technical analysis. So I'm going to do an Elliott wave count with you. This is a different format for my video than I think the last couple I did. I'm working through the Elliott wave count with you so I can show you how I figure it out. This is a weekly chart. This is Polkadot data from Yahoo Finance from August 2020 to today, which is, what is today? 10th of March 2023. Yeah. I see from this low to this high, this could be either a 3 or a 5. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this downward movement here, this looks like a 3, A, B, C. So I think I see a 5 up and a 3 down. 1 here, and subdivide that as a 5, and 2, and subdivide that as a 3. And the key to the analysis will be, is that 3-wave correction, is that bear market I'm labelling cycle 2 over? Let's zoom in on primary wave 3. Oh, I don't know about that. This low, 27.13, and this low, 26.75. No, that would be an expanded flat. I don't like that at all. I think maybe we have something in here, like this. Sorry, a running flat, not an expanded flat. No, I think, oh, actually, that's a good point. Oh, okay, this is going to work. Yeah, okay, that's good. So then we have an extended third wave here. No, I'd put the first wave there. I'd have to look at the structure of this fourth wave. I think it might be a combination. Not great proportion, but not too bad. I'm not going to worry too much about 4 and 5. It's the third wave that has to work. Let's save that. That'll be my weekly chart. And let's do a daily chart from that. And I want to focus on cycle 2. But before I go there, I just want to have a look at the structure of minute 4. I think this could be a combination. Oh yeah, that fits really well. Okay. X, W is a zigzag. X is a zigzag and Y is an expanded flat. Yep. And now everything's going to fit neatly. Oh, I don't know about that fifth wave though. I've wondered for a while actually if sometimes fifth waves could subdivide as zigzags, maybe. Let's see if this fits as an ending diagonal. Motive wave says no. Oh no, it's going to fit as an impulse. Oh, is there an overlap here? No, there isn't. Okay, let's go down to cycle wave 2. Will this fit as a zigzag on the daily chart? I think it probably will. Oh, nope. Okay, that's what motive wave thinks. I think I disagree. It's going to be too much overlapping. Nope. I'm going to put these up here and go for an extended third wave. That's pretty common. That looks terrible. this overlaps this, so this can't be 3, 4 here and here. That wouldn't work. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, is this not going to work? Okay, is this an ending diagonal for the 5th wave? How annoying. The 3rd wave is just a little bit too long. Everything else checks out. Again, I really do think that maybe the rules for diagonals need the addition of sometimes the 3rd wave can be the longest. There's so much overlapping in here. How on earth is this going to work? Okay, so if we have 1 and 2 here, then the 3rd wave is going to work. How on earth is that 5th wave going to work though? Is there another way to see the diagonal where the 3rd wave is not the longest? You want to put it there, don't you? But the 3rd wave is a little bit longer than the 1st. The 4th is shorter than the 2nd, and the 5th is shorter than the 3rd. What if we put this down here? Now it's going to work. Yeah. Okay. And the 1st is a nice zigzag. Okay, well that will work. So if I'm in my research, if I can find movements where an ending diagonal would have a 3rd wave that is slightly the longest, and I can see that there is no other reasonable way of labeling it, then I think I would be prepared to slightly change that rule, but I haven't found that yet. I have not found a solid example where the rule needs to be changed. I don't know if we're going to get an impulse in here though, guys. Oh yeah, we will if we use this here, the 3rd and 4th wave. Could the 1st wave be over here as some kind of diagonal? That 3rd wave, ooh, I don't know, I'd have to check that at lower time frames. Oh, okay, that works. What about the trend lines? Oh, horrible. Do not like. Okay, let's try a leading contracting diagonal. Oh, there's no overlap. Okay, well that means an impulse is going to work. Nope, I'll put this here and this here. Oh, but what if this high came before this low? Okay. Well, that's going to rely on that. I don't like that at all. No, I think I'm going to go back to the diagonal idea. And I'm going to have this here like this. I don't think the trend lines are going to work. So the wavelengths are all getting shorter, but oh, that's not too bad. That'll do. Yep. Okay, so B, nope, not a triangle. C, an impulse probably. Nope. Yeah. I wonder if the 3rd wave could have been over here. Could this be the 4th wave? No, there's an overlap. It could be actually down here. Yeah, either way. Okay. Oh, nice hammer candlestick pattern on this low. So that'll be my Elliott wave analysis for Polkadot. Let's do an alternate at the weekly. And for my alternate, I'm going to look as from this low to this high. Could this be a 3-wave structure at cycle degree? Instead of an impulse unfolding lower, could it be a zigzag? Sorry, an impulse unfolding higher. Could it be a zigzag? Well, it's still bullish, because if this is A, then you need C up. I think I really want to put 3 up there, because I do not want to see intermediate 4 as a running flat. And I really want to put this up here. And yeah, this is still going to work. This will be fine. Oh, not as well. Not as good. Because now the 3rd wave, well, okay, this could work. No, I think I see this here. What about this? Is this going to work? And this wick could be the 4th wave. Okay, yep, the 3rd wave's not the shortest. That works. Well, this is bullish. If you've had a 3 up here, This is a 3 down, whether or not it's complete. It could, for this idea, this could move beyond the start of A. Is this a 90% correction of A though? No, it's only a 74% correction. So an ABC is invalid, but what would work would be WXY, double zigzag. So it could be a double zigzag. Actually, A, B, C would be valid if there's a huge triangle unfolding. WXY, a double zigzag, first zigzag in the double joined by a 3 in the opposite direction labelled X, and the second zigzag to move reasonably beyond the end of W, because the purpose of a multiple zigzag, each subsequent zigzag, is to deepen the correction when the first or prior zigzag doesn't move price deep enough. So for this idea, Y would be expected to move reasonably beyond the end of W. If we're looking at a triangle, A, B, C, D, E, sideways movement in an ever decreasing range, C may not move beyond the end of A. For a barrier or contracting triangle, could be an expanding triangle, but they're not very common, so that would be the least likely scenario. What would be the most likely scenario would be a 5 up complete, a 3 down complete, now looking for a third wave up. Within cycle wave 1, primary wave 3 was 10.969 times the length of primary wave 1. If cycle wave 3 exhibits that same relationship to cycle wave 1, which it doesn't have to, it's just a ballpark figure, it's just a possible idea, then it could reach 574.413. The alternate still expects upward movement, either a zigzag or a flat correction, a zigzag for a double zigzag, could be sideways for a flat for a double combination, could also be a triangle. Lots of different options available for Polkadot. Let's look at some technical analysis, and I want to look at to see if there is strength off this low. On the weekly chart, at this low, this is a morning doji candlestick pattern, but the bullish part of the pattern, the third candlestick, does not have support from volume. There's support below about $13, and it's finding support just in this zone with now resistance about 20 and support about 13. This is a dark cloud cover. It didn't have push from volume. Upward movement did have push from volume through to here, and then we see a consolidation, and then we see overall a decline in volume. The last upward week to make the final all-time high did have some push from volume, but it wasn't as strong as back here. So the end of the fifth wave, declining volume. That's interesting. Don't always see that in cryptocurrencies. I'd expect to see that in an index, but not a commodity or a cryptocurrency. So there's a little bit of slightly unusual weakness that would make me a bit suspicious of this one. So this bullish candlestick pattern, we cannot have good confidence because it doesn't have good support from volume. What about previous lows? There was no bullish candlestick pattern here at this low. At this high, there's an absolutely enormous bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, so it was unsurprising that was followed through by more downward movement. A bullish hammer pattern down here. Some bullish long lower wicks here and here again. And then this big trend change here with dark cloud cover. So prices, if it continues lower, look out for support about $13. Currently, resistance about 20. If that breaks through, then we'll have next resistance probably about 29.5. We can see as price falls, volume declines. Coming up off this low, volume is starting to show a little bit of an increase in the last couple of upward weeks, but really not very much. Volume remains very light. Off this major low back here, volume did immediately show some increase. It has again here, and then it started to increase. The first couple of weeks it was very light compared to previous upward movements. So just because it remains very light here isn't an enormous cause for concern. It is showing some increase for those first 2 weeks off that low. On balance, volume currently has a weak range, not great technical significance. The lower support line, the yellow line, only has 2 prior tests. The upper only 3 or 4 tests. A break above resistance would be a weak-ish bullish signal. A break below support would be a very weak bearish signal. No signal at this time on the weekly chart. ADX is rising and it's above 15. The negative DX line is above the positive DX line. A downward trend is still indicated at this time frame. The previous upward trend reached very extreme. ADX was above 80 at that previous upward trend on the weekly chart. The DX lines have been doing a bit of whipsawing, and the ADX line has been doing a bit of fluctuating. So a downward trend is still indicated at this time frame, but it's not as clear as I would prefer it, that signal. RSI is neutral, reached overbought and exhibited bearish divergence at the high, and then further bearish divergence at the all-time high. Well back in neutral territory. Plenty of room to go before this downward trend, if it does continue, before it reaches extreme. Money flow, neutral, also exhibited strong bearish divergence at the high. Stochastics oversold, but the market is trending, so we use RSI and money flow, and there's plenty of room before they get extreme. And range declining. Range increased with the first big wave up here, declined through the bear market, showed an increase further in the final bull market, but didn't exceed that previous peak. So there was an increase in volatility, but the stronger volatility was in this previous peak. And that fits for a third wave, although not always a third wave for a cryptocurrency. There's a little bit more weakness I'm seeing in Polkadot than I see in a lot of other cryptocurrency charts. On the daily chart, at the lows, we see a hammer candlestick pattern here. This could be a piercing pattern here, but it's pretty weak and it lacks support from volume. At the high, on the daily chart, a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern here. These three together could possibly also be considered an evening doji, an evening star, although not perfect because the body of this candlestick is not below the body of this candlestick. And then we have a strong bearish engulfing candlestick pattern here. So at least two bearish engulfing candlestick patterns at that high. Up off the low, we are starting to see some push from volume. For recent movement, it is upward sessions that have strongest volume, stronger than downward sessions. So for the short term, the volume profile on the daily chart is bullish. On balance, volume is range bound. If it breaks above the purple resistance line, that would be a weak bullish signal. A break below the yellow support line would be a weak bearish signal. Just trying to adjust these lines for greater technical significance. We want as shallow a slope as possible. These lines don't have good technical significance. They're somewhat long held, but they don't have a lot of tests, and there's a bit of a slope there. They're not that close to horizontal. So a breakout could give a weak signal. No signal at this time for either time frame, weekly or daily, from on balance volume. ADX at the daily chart level is declining. It tells us there's no clear trend. With ADX declining, there's no clear trend. Stochastics has reached overbought and is turned down. Let's expect price to continue a downward swing to support about $13, and let's see if stochastics reaches oversold. When price reaches support, that could indicate the end of a downward swing and the start of an upward swing. This downward trend on the daily chart level did reach very extreme. The ADX line reached above both DX lines and above 40. And then we saw a bounce within the bear market, and then the final low here, and ADX again reached extreme for the downward trend. There hasn't been a cross of the ADX, of the DX lines. There's been no potential trend change at the daily chart level. When the trend reached extreme, RSI has reached oversold, recovered with a bounce, more deeply oversold. The closing price for price here $19.64, and the close for price here $17.31. There's strong bullish divergence between price and RSI, while ADX reached extreme. That would tend to indicate a setup for a major trend change. So the Elliott wave count is possible. I just see a little bit of weakness in terms of volume and range, particularly in that last fifth wave up for Polkadot, which is a little bit unusual for a cryptocurrency. So I'd be a little bit suspicious of one. This is not one that I would be buying. That's all from me. Don't forget, if you want to get access to that course at a really good price, there's a 37% discount until 4 p.m. tomorrow. Link is in the description box below. Thank you so much for your support.